the football, today is Super Bowl Sunday, basketball and sports, how our ancestors created all these apparatus for us to play football and sports. As you can see right here, this was a big sinkhole. It was a big hole, and as you can see, this is my property, my house that I purchased here in Eufaula, Alabama. Okay, this is it. And what I did today was I had to rake up the leaves to fill this hole. It took hours to do. But our ancestors, they love to be outside. They love to be in the field. Now, today, our people, all they do is ride up and down with their vehicles, listening to loud music. They don't want to take care of their property. They don't even want property. Did you know that land is the birthright? Land is your birthright. So this month, the shortest month that you guys are calling Black History, you're only doing Black History from the 1960s. But our history is way, way deeper than that. So much deeper than that. Okay, we keep calling ourselves Black. However, we don't get along with each other. We're killing each other. We're doing all kind of vicious and malicious things to each other in the name of Black Lives Matter. We have to learn to love one another. So I want to say to you today that I was watching something with Denzel Washington about what's her name? Mamie Rainey Ma with Viola Plummer, and they were asked would they have like a white director to direct it as opposed to a Black director, and Denzel said it's not about color, it's about culture. It's about the culture. So he said one guy did Schindler's List and another guy did Steven Spielberg did something else, but those are two different cultures. So they can't. So he was like, do they know about a hot comb and doing hair and our culture? So it's a culture. Like I keep telling you, 70 years ago we were colored, and if you called somebody Black, it was an insult. And I'll tell you something again. The word Black, if you take the B off Black, you got lack. Okay, so you're low, you're vibrating at a low frequency, you're lacking integrity, you're lacking knowledge, you're lacking respect, you're lacking everything with lack. You're at a low vibration. White, which is, take the W off of white, you got height. But that's a spell casting word, because our ancestors who were Atoxan, Aboriginal, Indigenous, the copper color American Indians, they called them paleface. Okay? You know, they were from the Coptic Mountains. Even with the names, when we say that our names are government names, no, they're not. How somebody from the Coptic Mountains have all these names? The four corners of the earth, it was us. Copper-colored people everywhere. There's people that's given up their DNA to say that your spit is sacred. So when you give up your spit and you're paying them for your spit, all they can do, they got information on you, and now they can clone you. Okay, because your spit is very sacred. Your spit cannot trace you from a place all the way across the water and tell you what tribe you came from. Your spit can only trace 0.01%. That's nothing, guys. We have to stop listening to Television, because today is Television Day. Yes, it is. People are going to their family houses. That's my neighbors across the street. They're getting ready for Super Bowl Sunday. When we had the lockdown, and I was in Miami, Florida, in my garden outside every day in 2020, and my family was like, why are you outside? I said, because I need that almighty sun. That sun is shining on me. The sun is very essential. The birds are outside. The raccoons, the squirrels, the dogs, the cats, they're breathing the same air. We need the sun. Without the sun, you're nothing. Today is a glorious day here in Eufaula, Alabama. I took this day to do yard work. I had to do a lot of raking of leaves. I planted those cactus over there, as you can see over here on this tree, and this tree here too, because this is my pecan tree. It will be back and ready in the spring. So I'm gonna put those cactus, because I had a huge cactus plant in Miami, and I put them on the tree. The other day there was a woodpecker. I think the woodpecker's doing all this, and this is like a acorn. Okay, but I've been planting cactus around the tree so that the squirrels won't be over here. And then I took this tree, which my neighbor, she's 81, she's been looking at this tribal house, because this is an official tribal house, for 70 years of her life. And I planted, she said this was a cedar tree, and I plant aloe here. And as you can see, this is the tribal house. Real tribal house. It's registered under the Hachihnotagni Yamasee Creek tribe. Okay, this is the tribal house. So what I did was put everything in back how we were in the 1400s, 15, 16, 1700s. Did you know in the 1700s, from 1715 to 1770, 17, my ancestors who are Yamasee, they had the biggest war with the colonizer. Okay, it was called the Yamasee War, Yamasee Uprising. But y'all so stuck on Black History Month, y'all don't go that far. Okay, it was us. It was the Cherokee, the Choctaws, the Chickasaws, the Creek Nations. They all got together and they fought them. It was one of the bloodiest wars ever, way before the Vietnam War and all this other stuff that y'all be talking about. The key with our people is that we are so wrapped up on athletes and celebrities that we don't do our own research or anything. We just so stuck on televisions, okay? And I don't care if you're Hebrew, Israelite, Rasta, Catholic, Baptist, Muslim, no matter what you call yourself as a black person, you're always fighting, whether you're Muslim, even indigenous. There's so many people that saying they Cherokee, Kitawa, but they're going around ripping off people, lying to people, taking people money in the name of indigenous and culture. It's a shame. It's a real shame. So there's a time right now, there's an awakening, because we're in the age of truth for 2,156 years. The truth will set you free. Okay? So I just want to come on here briefly, because I've been out here all day raking leaves, because that's what our ancestors did. They were always out in the field, planting, gardening. Shout out to my dad, whose family tribe, his mother and his father were from Virginia. His father actually lived on a reservation. Shout out and to my grandfather, Papa Nick, rise in power. His family was on the reservation, and they left the reservation to come to New York, because a reservation ain't nothing but a plantation. Okay, and we weren't slaves, we were prisoners of war. Okay, you have to stop saying, oh, we were slaves, we were prisoners of war, because they came over here, we was always here. The four corners of the earth, it was people that look like me and you. So you got to get your history right. And the children today is just so sad, because all you got them doing is looking at a tablet or a phone, and all they doing is gadgets with their hands. That's all you see them, with their hands, gadgets. You're not doing anything to teach them how to be architectures, agriculture, scientists, everything that's scientific that has to do with the earth. Nobody looks up to the sun anymore. Nobody looks up in the sky. Nobody stargaze. We are star beings. We are sun people. If our people don't stop, we're gonna be extinct. And now we got all the other races of people riding around their cars with loud music following us. We're the original. And the only way the earth is gonna vibrate better and at a better pace is less we start loving each other, loving ourselves, once we start vibrating on a unified level, loving one another, not with this fakeness, oh, I'm Cherokee, I'm Choctaw, I'm this, I'm that, and then you're doing vicious and malicious things to one another. It's ridiculous. I'm Rastafari, I'm Hebrew Israelite, I'm Catholic, I'm Muslim, but you steady doing vicious and malicious things to one another. It doesn't matter what your religious belief is. It doesn't matter what it is. This is my neighbor watch. Hey there. Love you more, Mr. Lowe. Thank you for everything. Peace and love. And this is why I like the South. The people are so, they're just really this is a small town, and they're so hospitable. The new generation is a little different because they're listening to that demonic, low chakra energy music. Okay, my mom taught us as children that we are all stars in the galaxy, and she never got us hooked on celebrities. She said we all stars in the galaxy. You see that sun shining on me, and they all don't shine at the same time, but you're a superstar. I have to shout out to my mom, who we came from Cypress Hills Projects. We grew up in Brooklyn. And let me tell you, my mom took us to the beach. My dad, my mom, they got us into activities, taught us how to swim. They took us to museums. They sent us to Fresh Air Camp, where we went camping, know how to live outdoors. And my mom took all the kids in the hood because, some people have that project mentality. And the project ain't nothing but another reservation, once again, to keep us boxed in. And so even my own family, they want nothing to do with indigenous or toxin aboriginal. They want to vote. They want to be all American. But at the same time, they screaming black, black, black. And black doesn't connect you to any land, to any country. It's not a race. It's an adjective. It means dead in law. Shout out to Obama, who told Tom Joyner, when Tom Joyner said to him, how does it feel to be the first black president? He was on a Tom Joyner show, and he said, I don't subscribe to the word black. He says black has no standard in law. He's a lawyer. He knows. It's a color code. Okay, so when you say I'm a black woman, even my sister, we go through it, we battle over. She said, well, I'm a black woman. I was born a black woman. I'm a die black woman. Sweetie, you're brown with beautiful brown eyes. You're not black. Are we the only color blind people in the world? Do you hear a dark-skinned Indian person from India calling themselves black? Heck no. They're darker than me and you. They never say they're black. Never, ever, ever. Any other race, the Fijians, you go to Fiji, all these islands, you go to Australia, those people never consider themselves black. It has been indoctrinated to us with the whole reclassification, and you submitting to it. But it's a new day, and I'm here building my Hachiinotakni Yamasee Creek Nation right here in Eufaula, Alabama. And I will be taking applications for serious mind people, because look at this property that I have that I would love to be getting ready for the Super Bowl, child. All this, all that, okay? And I have my garden over there. But that's a fig tree, another fig tree. And look at this. There's a lot of vegetation. These are all scallions. Scallions. My neighbor across the street, she'll be 81. She told me that this house has been here so long, okay, that this was all farmland and people farmed here. There's fennel. As I was raking, there's fennel and everything. This is scallions, and where's the fennel? It's fennel like everywhere you look. Okay, let me get back over here, because where's the fennel? Oh, over here. I've been working in the yard. This is another fig tree. Figs are amazing for you. So all this is scallions. There's the fennel, scallions. This is where I do, here in Eufaula, you can burn your stuff. So I always keep the leaves, the branches that come. This is all fennel. I raked all that. That's all fennel. Okay? This is indigenous, tribal, energy. We don't even want to go outside anymore. We don't even be outside. I'm 1960s baby. I'm the generation that played outside. Honey, we played outside. We got in trouble. Our parents would say, "Oh, you can't go outside for a week." Honey, we would cry, be upset. We like, just give us a beating and get it over with. Because outside meant the world to us. Like the kids across the street, they just went inside. They were riding their bikes, and that's what I like about down here, because the children do play outside. They do play outside, okay? Because you have to get fresh air, and you need, look at the trees, how beautiful they are over there. Like, look over there, just beautiful, beautiful, just beautiful, 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 beautiful. They're getting ready for that Super Bowl, y'all. Just beautiful. And I talk to the trees. I communicate with the trees. Eufaula is named after an Indian chief. Yaholo Miko was the chief of Eufaula, Alabama. Alabama is Indian land. Like my auntie that's here that I help, and my uncle and them, their grandmother was Cherokee. Like on my father's side is Cherokee. My father's side is Cherokee, Mohawk, Mohegan, Blackfoot. My mother's side is Cherokee and Yamasee. And here's a whole bunch of the fennel right here. This is what they make toothpaste with. This is all fennel. And she told me, the lady across the street, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay, you too. Thank you. She told me that this house has been here for so long. There was a house here where you see this land, there was a house. But she told me my house, the tribal house, was here. And this used to be farmland. They used to farm. They used to plant a lot of fruits and a lot of sweet potatoes. And she said, like her house is like a recent house. Like her house is brick. That's a recent house. That house is a recent house. And the houses over there. And there's a lot of people that has trailer houses, but they look nice. Like that house over there is a trailer house over there. But she was telling me that this was all farmland. And that's what I get from my ancestors. My shout out to my dad, once again, who's going to be 80, and my mom's going to be 81. When the census only started in the 1800s, okay? So in the 1700s, my dad's last name was Sheton, Sheton, ancient name. Just like all the names we have, Denise, Dennis, all these names are our names. It's not no such thing as government name. These people came from the Caucasus Mountains. How could they have names? Everything is from us. We've been bamboozled. They're casting words, spells on us. And so when I went through the census, through Ancestry, and found my father's family that were the Sheltons, my great-great-grandmother, Salika, all of them on the Shelton line, they weren't Shelton, they were Shetons. And then they added the L in the 1800s. And when I looked up Sheton, they said they were agriculture, they tend to the land, they were farmers. And that's who our ancestors are. We got these young people. I'm down here in Eufaula. I go through Tuskegee, I go through Midway, Union Springs, all through Georgia, right across the bridge in Georgetown, Cuspid, Georgia. These houses are sitting there. They even have hotels that their family left them. Our people don't want it. And then when other people come here and start buying it up and doing great things and beautifying the community, guess what we say? Oh, they don't give us nothing. This is your land, but as long as you calling yourself black, you're whack. You're not getting nowhere because we're indigenous. Those treaties are still in place. So when you start calling yourself Yamasee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Blackfoot, Cherokee, Mohawk, Mohegan, Iowa, just like my son, he gave up his spit, him and his fiance, and they're like, "Oh, we're not Indian, we're African, we're this, that, the other." Okay, your spit can't trace you nowhere. My son, his father's mother's from India. So he's Indian on his father's side. And in Jamaica, if you don't know, you're Arawak, Maroon, Taino. This is in the Caribbean. Okay, look up the book, Professor Constantine Rafizik. He talks about, but of course they call us black because they labeled us black, the primitive black nations of North America, which is Turtle Island. Okay, and they talk about Panama, Colombia, Brazil. Okay, they talk about the West Indies. That's why I said the West Indies. Why, when we grew up in the 70s, we were calling, in the 60s, we were calling people West Indians, and why they have the West Indian parade where they dress up with feathers and everything looking like Indians, because we are. But we've been so brainwashed from athletes, celebrities, entertainers, the schools, the churches, and the government, and you don't want to do your own research. So if you don't do your own research, this is what happened. Look at all this stuff that's down here since I rigged. This is all food. All food. All food. She never lied. And then as I was raking over here, because I'd rather rake and then do a blower, because, honey, I'll be 60 and I love, that's right. I love being outdoors, and that's what outdoors is about. Being out here. Look at this. I found raking. That's fennel. That's culantro. That's culantro. And then under here, I just was raking and I found that. Okay. Not to mention that I have all my stuff that I'm growing in pots, because I do Alabama and Miami, shout out. And this is all scallions. And matter of fact, you can see it over here. You see I got my rain barrels that I had in Miami. This is an antique shed, beautiful shed. And look, you can see that this is scallions. If I pull it up, you can see it's a scallion. I'm going to pull it up. Okay? That's a scallion. Scallion. Okay, that's all fennel. Okay? All fennel. This is my compost. Compost right here. Compost. Rain barrels. I've been eating my food. I have a little bit of that left. I planted now. This is coming back because spring is coming. All my aloe. The mango got a little, because it gets cold. It's colder than Miami. But everything comes back. Look at the broccoli coming. Look at the other broccoli coming. Look at the kale. Look at the lettuce. Or yeah, look at that. Look at that. Peppermint. Aloe. Kale. Fresh kale. And that's a little bit right there of papaya coming. Okay? And then I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I've planted in pots. And this is going to be really delightful when it comes. Okay? So this is what I do. And you can see it right here. This is all scallions. And I showed you the ones that's the onions. See them? Right there, because this is foam. That's culantro. Scallion. Look at that. See it? So beautiful. There it is. Farmland. And see here on my porch, my favorite right here. One of my favorite. Like, this is my favorite. So good. And I'm going to give it some more water, but it's so good and delicious. And then there's the kale. And then I recycle the pineapples. This is my lemongrass. Could you believe it? So beautiful. And then I resurrect that back. But this is like my first time really planting in pots. Okay? And this house has been here over 80 years. This is what you call a vintage antique house. Okay? Very vintage. And, my tribal name means little butterfly under the moonlight. There it is, the butterfly. Okay? So I'm doing what my ancestors did in the 1400s, the 1500s, 16, 17, 1800s, keeping it ancient. I'm not stuck on a word that somebody reclassified us as, because James Brown only made the song I'm Black and I'm Proud because they had killed Otis Redding and Sam Cooke. And they said to him, nigger, do you want the same thing to happen to you? And so they forced him to do that song. But James Brown was Apache. And like I tell people, stop getting so caught up in the word nigga. We say it in a song all the time. That word was never for us. The word was really for the colonizer, okay? The pale face, the pilgrims, the Caucasus Mountains people. We're not niggers, but we have vibrated on a word and been so brainwashed. We take everything they teach us. That's why public school is what? Free. Free education, because they teach you for free. But you know, when you go to college, you have to pay. So you're paying for more inaccurate miseducation. Okay? So I just wanted to say that because Black History Month is a joke. Our history is way before. They keep saying the first black this, the first black that, and this, that, the other. Child, we've been here forever since. Nobody ain't talking about the Yamasee uprising. They're not talking about all those great chiefs that look like me and you. So when you know better, you do better. Your ignorance is their power over you. And I'll end that with that. You keep wanting to call yourself black, you have no rights. That's why they can shoot you down. You call yourself African American, it's a 14th Amendment citizen, which means you are state property, that they could shoot you down. It was Executive Order 13037 by your first black president, Bill Clinton, who was a clone, who has been executed because this whole shutdown was from all these pedophiles. You go so hard for celebrities, like you don't be nice to your own neighbor and people you know, but you go crazy over Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, all these people promoting African American and black, and half of them are pedophiles and sex traffickers. You don't know them. They've never give you a check. Have you received a check for Beyonce? Have you ever received a check from Jay-Z, Rihanna, Obama, all these people that you go hard for, that you don't, you're clueless of how evil what they have been doing to you. You see Whoopi Goldberg, she said it was about the human race. They went nuts and they put her on suspension. Why? Because she knew that it was people that looked like us that was executed in the Holocaust. She knows that. And so when you start speaking truth and you work on their networks, I don't own a television. I don't watch it. While everybody now is glued to their TV, going to people's houses, having Super Bowl parties. Honey, I was out here getting my sunshine because guess what? We invented the football, the basketball, the soccer ball. We were known by the settlers and the pilgrims, the colonizer, as the rubber people. As the rubber people. That's who we were. So knowledge is power and your ignorance is nonsense. Everybody is getting ready for this Super Bowl Sunday, but you don't even know you invented the football, you invented sports, you invented everything, and that we own the four corners of the earth. And one last important thing, Benjamin Franklin wrote a book back in the days, and he said it's so many dark people on the planet. Remember in school we learned in history that the dark ages was the worst ages. Why? Because the whole world was dark people. Now you have over in the continent, you couldn't call people over in the continent black. They didn't subscribe to that, but now they're on black. You even have Latinos that are dark skinned, look like me. They're now subscribing to the word black. Okay, but some of them don't. Okay, and shout out to all my Chicos and Latinos in Miami. If it wasn't for them, my business would never prosper because so-called black people, we don't support each other. We don't do each other right. And then we're killing each other on a regular basis. Children getting shot and shootouts coming from parties. My client in Miami last year, Martin Luther King weekend, her 6-year-old granddaughter shot down. Atlanta, a 6-month-old shot down. But we never protest. We're never outraged. And so when a stranger comes in, which is once in a blue moon, it's not all the time. Okay, we're killing each other every day on a continuous basis, and nobody's outraged about that. Nobody's protesting about that. Okay? One thing that you don't know, we enslaved the Caucasians first, but you don't know the history. We enslaved them first. So once you wake up and smell the coffee and do your research, the books are out there. I have a list of 50 books. Shout out to Indigenous Boy Krell, who's from South Carolina, the oldest man who my great-grandparents, my great aunt was named America means, like Russell means the American Indian Advocate, but it was not pronounced America. It was pronounced America. Just like they say Farrakhan and it's Farrakhan, they take everything that we have. However, we were here and always here. Okay? And my great grandmother and my mother didn't even know. That was her grandmother's parents that she didn't know. And I went through Ancestry and found all of them, not through no spit, through public record, through data. Her parents, her great grandfather, which is my great 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 grandfather, was David Means. Her great great grandmother was Laura Means. Her great great aunt, which because her great grandmother was Ida Means, Thomas Means, William Means. They were from South Carolina, and the oldest Y chromosome in the world is from Albert Perry, who his family was doing. He's a deceased, but they call him a black man. He was doing, his family was doing something to find out which part of the continent they were from, and they had exhumed some of his DNA, and they found out that his Y chromosome is the oldest in the world. It shattered the out of Africa theory. It proved that the biblical Adam and Eve is a complete fallacy, and it also proved that so-called black Americans have their own distinct DNA. If you're here from Cuba, Jamaica, Trinidad, North America, most of us, our blood type is O negative and O positive. Over on the continent, they're A, B, BA. So how are we related? How are we related? So these are the things that they do because they know we're not. They say anything you want to keep from a Negro, which is another reclassified name, put it in a book. We don't read. All we do is watch the idiot box, aka television. So I have talked to you. I appreciate you. Most of you are right now glued to the television, watching that fake. It's all rigged football, and we're the creators of the football, the basketball, the soccer ball, the rubber people. That's how we have tires, everything. We are the creators of everything. So peace and natural hair grease, much love and light. And if you're interested in joining the Hachihnotagni, wants to be adopted into the Hachihnotagni Yamasee Creek tribe, just hit me up. You have to have skills. You got to have to bring something to the table. We don't want people that's not about nothing, con artists. We want people that's builders, that have skills, plumbers, carpenters, farmers, people that know how to do media, all the things that our ancestors did to help our children, to music that is going to be vibrational, yoga, all kind of natural things that our ancestors did before we were now totally brainwashed. So if you're calling yourself black, you're super brainwashed. That goes for my family. You know, I just keep it real. We're in the age of truth and enlightenment and knowing for 2,156 years. So the truth will set us free. And if you don't want to be free, you see Jimi Hendrix? He knew that he was Cherokee, and they killed him too. Just like they killed Sam Cooke, Otis Redding. Our people in the music industry were amazing. All the great jazz that they got in their museums, everything. Now people don't own an instrument. They don't play an instrument. All they're doing is playing with their hands on a tablet. All these mothers giving their children tablets, nothing. It's just ridiculous. It's just so pathetic. My grandson, he has a next man trash is a next woman treasure. So I was riding my bike because you all know I love riding bikes, trampoline. I'm an outdoors girl, running, still jump, double dutch at 60 years young. I'll be 60 years young next month. So I'm riding my bike and I see this red kid's piano outside. It's a real piano, but it's made for children. And I took it, didn't know that my son was going to be born a couple of years later, and I gave him the djembe when I went to the continent. I have all kind of instrument. My grandson is going to be 17 months this month. He plays Thank You for the Hearts and Thank You for the Love and Thank You for Tuning In. My grandson plays that piano and the djembe at the same time. So my daughter's going to get him into music and to martial arts. Okay? We are artists. We were into that for a long time. And I want to shout out this brother that's on Facebook that's really amazing. He's from, I think, Converse, Georgia. His name is Andrew Williams. This brother is phenomenal. He has lovely long locks, handsome brother. But this brother can restore a house. He's nonstop posting up about his what he does. He can fix anything. He's like an incredible brother, and he's always tagging me of all the stuff he's doing. He's always telling me, "Don't stop, keep doing what I'm doing." Those are the people we want in our tribe. He's a plumber. I mean, he can fix any and everything. He restores. When I tell you he's no joke, he's no joke. And this is what I did today, breaking up all these leaves because this was a big sinkhole. You couldn't believe what a sinkhole it was. It was a big old sinkhole. So when cars would come across here, they would have to go around it because they would go into this hole and get stuck. And so I took the day breaking up leaves, all these leaves, and I filled this hole because that's what indigenous people do. We love being outside. We don't want to be inside watching no television. Because guess what? When you go, all these people think heaven is somewhere. When you pass away, honey, heaven is right here on earth. Because when you go to heaven, ain't no TV, ain't no television in heaven. Ain't no TV, and ain't nobody came back from the dead and said, "Oh my God, hurry up and come. Heaven is great. Heaven is wonderful. You need to hurry up and die." Okay? Because you're a recycled ancestor and you're a spiritual being having a human experience. Simple as that. Religion, our ancestors wasn't religions. Even Jesus was shuffled in. The Bible never talked about Jesus. It was shuffled in when the civil rights movements were shuffled in 1967, because from 1924 to 1967, if you called yourself Cherokee, Choctaw, Mohegan, Mohawk, Blackfoot, Chickasaw, Creek Nation, it was illegal and you went to jail. You couldn't even say that you were Indian. It was against the law. And then they shuffled in the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King didn't do us justice. We already had our business. We already had our hood was flourishing. Okay? Once they did that, you getting hosed down and beat down to eat in somebody's restaurant where they could spit in your food. We had it going on. It's about your human rights, not your civil rights. I don't have to go up in your store. I don't have to eat in your restaurants. And when they did that, all our businesses went completely down. We weren't supporting each other. The mom and pop's business folded. So the civil rights movement was the worst movement ever because it's about your human rights, not your civil rights. So all this, the 60s and this and that and all that, please go do your research and listen to your great-grandparents and your grandparents and your parents. I'm like Waka Flocka Flan. He said he asked his grandma. He's like, "Grandma, we African?" His grandmother said, "No. We Cherokee, Redfoot, and some other tribe," he said. And then they were interviewing. They said, "What would you say to the children, Waka Flocka, about being black?" He said, "You're not going to call me black." He said, "I'm not black. I'm Cherokee, Redfoot, whatever his tribes are." And I have to shout them out for putting up videos, buying land, doing farming. Our people had horses. That's who we are. That's why I love it down here. My uncle has an amazing farm with cows, with bulls, with all kind of greens and fruits. He grow red watermelon and yellow watermelon. That's who our ancestors were. Right now, our people just want to ride around and listen to hip hop, low chakra energy music. That half of these people that's in the industry are sex traffickers and pedophiles and drinking blood, androchrome. And that was the shutdown was for, because half of these people have been executed. Okay? A lot of them have been executed, and the truth will come out soon. So, like my mother said, be a leader and not a follower. Worship your ancestors, not these people. You don't know these entertainers. Are they writing you a check? You know that our people in the entertainment business are worth $3 billion? And look how we are. They have not done nothing because they can't do nothing for you because they're under blood contracts. They can't do anything for you and they won't. This is why Waka Flocka got out of that industry, because he couldn't say, because, you know, if you're not transgender and if you're not going for that other inorganic lifestyle, then forget it. And if you speak up about it, you're banned. You know, you can't even speak up about the jab. You got to use cold words. I've been in Facebook lockdown. I'm shadow banned on Instagram, Twitter. Once you speak in the truth, you become enemy of the state, okay? Because they don't want to hear it and they don't want you to tell the truth, okay? You see the movie Color Purple, okay? The Color Purple, with Alice Walker, she was showing stuff that was true because we don't never want to tell the truth about ourselves. We don't want to hold ourselves accountable that we're not nice to each other, that we're mean, ugly, and nasty to each other. People killing their own brothers, sisters, mothers, cousins over a bull crap tip. And we don't want to hold ourselves accountable. As long as we're vibrating on these low energy, the world will never heal because we're the original people. In order for the world to heal, because those Coptic Mountain people, they are our grandchildren. They are from us. You see a lot of Caucasians that look like us. They are phenotype. They're connected to us. And as long as we're vibrating low, the world's going to be low. And as long as you're calling yourself black, take the B off of black, you got lack. You're lacking respect, integrity, intelligence, knowledge of self. You're just a lacker. And when people say the word black, it's an insult. Because I told you 70 years ago in the 50s, if you call somebody black, my mother used to always say, if you call somebody black, that was fighting words. Y'all stuck on the word nigga, that's not even connected to y'all. But they know how to trick y'all with spell casting words. You're not the original nigger. They are. But you believe everything because Oprah and all these people who is on a tracking device she was down with the whole sex trafficking. There's so many of these celebrities you don't know, and that's what they do. They put these athletes and celebrities and you worship them. Worship your ancestors, worship your parents that do great things, okay? And then you will see, honey, it's a new day coming. Our ancestors are here. They're rising up. Ancestors rise up, rise up. It's a new day, and you will see for yourself. We're in a 222 month, all straight twos, divine energy, remembering who you truly and really are. 222. Okay, it's a powerful month right now. The 17th is the full moon. I will be doing my full moon rituals for our ancestors. That's when they can connect with us during the full moon and manifestation. That's who we were. We were outdoors. Do you know when you're not outdoors and you're not hugging a person and being close to them, that improves your immune system. Hugging is good for the immune system. Being outdoors, getting that sun, look at that sun, beaming on me. Okay? The best vitamin D you can get. Our people are afraid of sun. Include my daughter. Like, oh, don't have my son in this. Don't have my son in the sun. I said, are you kidding me? Like the sun, all that stuff I showed you in the ground. Sun did that. Sun is very powerful. We are the sun people. But we're so brainwashed because we watch television and this social media has made us even more ignorant. So I want to thank you for watching and listening. There's people now glued to their television, idiot box, watching this rigged, when I say rigged football game with the Rams, and it's just propaganda, and you're making them rich through all the inorganic commercials that's making you sick, all the inorganic food that they promote through the commercials and halftime, and all these halftime artists doing rituals that's on the lineup. Boy, girl, bye. I'm sticking with my ancestors. I'm sticking with my indigenousness. I'm sticking with my Autoxin Aboriginal because I'm listening to my ancestors. That's why every day I see 1111, 1212, 11, 222, 333. Jay-Z wanted to come back after he started saying, I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. He's an African. Yeah, right. You're not. And then he put, and so did Beyonce. You can see she's straight Indian from Louisiana. Child, please, no. So he tried to get back, and because he's a time traveler, that's all he is. He's been here before. That's why you see he's a time traveler. Eminem, they already been here before and came back. They're time travelers. I'm a time traveler. I've been here and I came back. But that 444 was a message, and now he want to talk back to them. After you sign those blood contracts, and then you do all their demonic things, and then you want to get out and talk to us, it's too late, okay? Peep that 444. When I saw it, I was in New York when the album dropped, and I said 444 because I'm in the frequencies with whole numerology. Okay, I'm with it. I'm on it. I'm in tune. Okay, so I just want to thank y'all for tuning in and share this video because our people worldwide are sleeping. It's not even over here on Turtle Island. It's on the continent. They sleep. Over in Asia, the dark skinned people are asleep. In Europe, the dark skinned people, they're the original people. They didn't take all these so called millions. Where's the ship? Have you ever seen one ship? Not one ship. Okay, just like they and orchestrated Jesus in the 1960s and the civil rights movement. They orchestrated all this about we were taken from over here and brought over here. Yeah, right. We were already here. We were always here, and our ancestors are here. They send me frequencies every day because I'm listening and I'm not watching no television. You heard? And thank you, sun, for shining. Peace and at your hair grease. Much love. Peace out.